Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be talking about the new update that just came out, update 6.5, and I'm going to be talking about all the new variants that they just released for the coming months. So in regards to the update, there really isn't much to say. The only thing they really did was, one, add new characters, obviously. So now you can run into these characters in parallel realms, holodeck hazards, just all the different types of modes that you can run into. All the PvE modes, I guess is what I mean to say. You can't get them now, but you can run into them. So there's that. But they also added the previous batch of characters into... Wait a minute. No, start over. Hold on. Let me look at the update really quick. This is going to look really weird because I did not set up this recording to actually capture this. Okay, so these characters are going to be in the Shard Exchange. So, well, they're going to be released gradually into the Shard Exchange. So these are the characters that were in this last batch. So Palace Plunder, Grave... Oh, I don't even remember their names. Grave Danger, Reimaged, Raymaged... I never really figured that one out. Hell's Bell, Megastar, and Formidable. So yeah, these guys are getting added. Get them if you want. I'm probably not going to get any of them from Shard Exchange because the only one I would get is Palace Plunderer. Not that any of them seem bad, but like, eh. Sorry that this recording looks awkward. Anyways, so they're adding the characters before that to regular relics. So we have Cosmic Rebel, Apex Complex, Indomitable, Seraph Soldier. Oh, I forgot what her name is. Buffer Zone and Ogre Achiever. So if you guys want those characters, you can get them. The only character on here that I'm like kind of interested in is Seraph Soldier. I feel like she would be a really good combination with some of my other characters. Okay, so, but that's pretty much it. And, yeah, they're adding avatars, blah, blah, blah. So, anyways, let's talk about the actual variants. Oh, and they did quality of life improvements, which are actually really noticeable. I was playing yesterday and today, a second ago, and the game moves really fast and really smoothly, so I'm really happy about that. Unfortunately, replays are still really glitched. I've actually noticed that most replays I even look at are totally off. Like, I felt like what it used to be was there'd be a couple of replays every once in a while that were messed up, but maybe it was actually always like this. At least now... Now, for some reason, it's like every replay is just off. This last replay I made, though, was actually correct for once, which was shocking. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's actually talk about the new variants. Okay, so we're going to start with Near Death. So this is the variant that's based on 2B. Okay, let's just read out her signature ability. Transfer 1 debuff from yourself to the opponent and inflict guard break for 15 seconds after every 5 seconds while not suffering a hit, including blocked hits. While the opponent is suffering from a debuff, grant Deadeye for 15 seconds when using a Blockbuster. Also, while the opponent has 3 or more stacks of guard break, Blockbusters deal 50% more damage. Okay, so she seems decent. I actually played as her when I played Parallel Realms yesterday because I got her from a recruitment node. To be honest, she was okay. The problem with her in No Mercy specifically is that her guard break didn't last long enough for her to actually inflict 3 stacks of guard break on the enemy. So because of that, I couldn't really make use of her increased blockbuster damage. So that kind of sucked. But she did get Deadeye, and overall she was just okay. I'm going to be honest, I feel like in regular modes she would be good, but she doesn't really stand out to me as an amazing character at least. But I guess if you get her, I feel like she would be okay. But for what I have right now, I don't really need her. The Deadeye is nice though, so I'll give her that. And the transferring debuff thing seems okay too. But overall, not the biggest fan. Okay, next we have Spellbent Marie. This is the one based on that one girl whose name I still don't know how to say. So, anyways, Skeletal Summon moves grant either regen for 15 seconds or barrier. While benefiting from barrier and regen, hits from Skeletal Summons deal an additional 2% of the opponent's max health and drain 3% blockbuster meter. Okay, so she seems pretty good. The only thing that makes me a little bit iffy about her is that her Skeletal Summons... Well, you need to use Skeletal Summon moves to actually activate her abilities. And it's only her skeletal summons that benefit from the extra damage on the enemy and the blockbuster meter drain. But at the same time, some of her Skeletal Summon moves are really good, and I use them a lot, so I guess maybe... she seems pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. And the one thing I really like about her, because she's a Marie... Well, okay, not just because she's a Marie, but... with her abilities, they seem like they would be pretty good against the boss nodes of Area 1 and 3 of Parallel Realms. Well, no, what am I talking about? Okay, she seems like she would be good for the boss nodes of Area 1, 2, and 3, because those boss nodes in Parallel Realms, No Mercy specifically, have that match modifier plot armor that makes it so you can only inflict 5% damage you can only take 5% of the enemy's health per hit, but that doesn't really affect additional damage thingies. So like Starshine, her galactic punch uppercut move, which is, don't know why, I can't remember the name of that move. But anyways, that move, it does an additional 5%, I want to say. It takes 5% off the enemy's health in addition to the damage that you already inflict. So Spellbend, I'm assuming, works the same way, at least with this extra 2% damage thing. So because of that, I feel like she would be really good in Parallel Realms. Also, on top of that, because she's a Marie, and also, well, so she can destroy dead bodies and stuff, and she gets regen and barrier, so she would have longevity in that sense. So yeah, I think she's pretty good. At least she seems like she would be good. I'm just a little bit like iffy on the whole skeletal summons thing. Whew, okay. I don't know why. I took notes, you guys. I don't know why I'm trying to get this all off, like, just from my own mind. Okay, Masked Menace. So this is the one that's based on Skull Kid. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think I would ever use her. Like, okay, you guys need to tell me how good she really is. I feel like you guys are better at seeing the potential in characters than I am. I can kind of see the potential because she can inflict doom and it lasts for 15 seconds. So I guess theoretically, if you inflict doom, you don't really have to do much fighting. You just have to make sure you don't die and the enemy doesn't get a buff. So in that respect, I feel like she's good. And she inflicts curse and quietus when near the enemy. Seems really good too, because like even if you're not going to rely on doom, if you're able to just inflict quietus while near the enemy, then that will be helpful when dealing with characters that get final stand and blessing and stuff. So that's pretty cool. It's just the doom part of it. I'm just like, okay, so you have to use a burst and you have to make sure the enemy doesn't get a buff, because if they do, it just removes doom. It feels like that would be easy to make happen. But I understand that if you throw out somebody like Unholy Host or Perfect Dark or Dark Horse or somebody that can like inflict either a permanent curse or a long-lasting curse, then you could hopefully make it really easy to actually defeat the enemy with her doom. So, but that's not really my play style. I'm not the type of person to just tag out and use other characters, so I usually just use like my first person, and if they're about to die, I'll switch, but I'll never really switch outside of that. I also think she would be good against Painwheel. Maybe. This one's a big maybe, but I feel like if you're fighting a Tainted Blood Painwheel specifically, and you use the whole like burst doom thingy, then you don't really have to fight Painwheel. You just have to make sure, like, you don't have to worry about taking a ton of damage from her critical hits. Plus, she can also regain health, Masked Menace, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this variant. Really, let me know what you think of all the variants, because I'm not 100% sure about any of them, really. Okay, moving on. So we have Chaos Theory Double. So this one is based on... I forgot. You know what? I don't even remember their name. This is based on a Hades character. So anyways, oh, you know what? I didn't even read... I just realized I didn't even read Painwheel's ability. Whatever, you guys know what it is. Okay, so let's actually read Double's ability. When transmuting, inflict bleed on yourself and gain enrage for 10 seconds each. Also, when transmuting to the light element, gain blessing. Dash attacks remove all bleeds, drain 5% health per bleed removed. Okay, so she seems... First off, she reminds me of that one Painwheel whose name I can't remember. The one that inflicts bleed on herself, so... There's similarities there. I don't love that she inflicts bleed on herself, but I guess that's a requirement to activate her second signature ability. This is another one that I think would be good against Parallel Realms, Plot Armor Match Modifier, because I would think that the bleed would just... What am I trying to say? I would think that all the bleed stacks would make it so the enemy loses a bunch of health instead of only losing 5% of their health. So that's cool. And the fact that she drains health means she gets it back. So she seems kind of like a risk-reward type of character, I guess. Plus you have to transmute. And the only way to transmute is to just sit there and block. So... I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I would ever play as her, but she seems really interesting. I would be curious to see how other people play as her, because I feel like that would be fun to watch, but I feel like it would be weird to actually use her. Next. Okay, so we have Locked In Parasol. This one is obviously based on Tifa. Guys, I called it, well, I didn't really call it, but remember when I was like, I want to see Tifa in this game? She was one of the variants that I put in that variants I want to see video, and now she's here, so I'm super happy about that. Oh my gosh, wait a second. I just realized that, have I been recording, like... Okay, whatever. I think I was accidentally recording the edge of my monitor, so you just saw, like, a little bit of my background. That's okay, though. Moving... Maybe not. If you haven't, then just pretend I didn't say anything. Okay, so... Anyways... her ability. While near a tier, 100% chance for special moves to grant haste for 15 seconds and remove one opponent buff. While at least one tier is on stage, critical hits grant invincible for 1 second and 10% of all critical damage dealt is regained as health. So she seems really good. Also, I just want to say, when I found out that she was a Parasol, I was already like, oh, but now I'm finding out that she's a diamond, so I'm like, oh, I'm probably not even going to get her. Like, I already am not great with Parasol to begin with because I never use her. But the fact that this Tifa variant is a diamond, like, we'll see if I end up trying to use Theonite to pull for her. Who knows? Anyways, so her abilities. So she seems really strong because she can remove buffs, which is awesome, and she can give herself haste, which I'm definitely going to take advantage of. I kind of messed up when it came to Dark Horse. I built her, like, I gave her a bunch of meter gain because I thought that would be smart, but since Dark Horse gives herself haste, it doesn't really make any sense to give herself meter gain because haste and meter gain don't stack. So I'm going to be smart and not do that with Parasol. Although, even if I did, it wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world because if she gets cursed and is unable to get haste, then that meter gain that she naturally has would actually be really helpful. So whatever. Anyway, so she can remove buffs, which is cool, and she can give herself haste, which is really cool. And it's not even hard to accomplish because you just need to be near a tier. And then there's her other ability, which makes it so as long as a tier is on the stage, her critical hits grant her invincible for 1 second and they give her health. Okay, so I have mixed feelings on critical based characters because I don't like to use them against people like Black Dahlia who benefit from getting hit by critical hits, or Painwheel who again benefit from getting hit by critical hits. But one thing I found out recently, which in hindsight, I don't know how I never really thought about this before. So this Parasol's ability is very similar to Cosmic Rebel's ability in that when she gets a critical hit, she gets invincible. The thing about Cosmic Rebel is she does the same thing, but it's a little bit more tricky to use it. It requires more. Whereas this one just this Parasol just needs a tier to be on stage. When it comes to Cosmic Rebel Annie, she has to make sure the enemy has death mark inflicted on them for her critical hit invincibility thing to activate. But once it does activate, when you're fighting Painwheel and you get a critical hit and she gets invincible, you don't take any damage from those critical hits. I actually tested it because I was like, wait a second, how did I not realize this before? And none of you ever told me. Not that I'm blaming you, but I'm thinking either you guys didn't know that because maybe you don't have Cosmic Rebel or nobody really uses Cosmic Rebel, or you just kept that information to yourselves and didn't feel like commenting. I don't know. Either way, I didn't know that and I feel really stupid because I have Cosmic Rebel, so like, why didn't I think to do that before? But I know that that's how it works. So that means that Parasol would be extremely good against Painwheel because she would be able to get invincibility when inflicting critical hits, so she wouldn't have to worry about Tainted Blood. The only thing that would suck is she wouldn't be like amazing against Black Dahlia. Like, yeah, she can remove buffs, but it's so easy for Black Dahlia to get buffs that, well, yeah, but you have to use special moves for it to remove buffs. So I don't know how great she'd be against Black Dahlia, but she would be amazing against Painwheel. So I really want to get her. We'll see if it happens. That was long-winded. Anyways, next we have Pickleballer Beowulf. Okay, so this one is based off Piccolo from Dragon Ball / Dragon Ball Z / Dragon Ball Super / Dragon Ball whatever else you want to call it. Okay, so let's talk about his ability. While Beowulf is alive, the active fighter gains evasion for 7 seconds and 10% blockbuster meter when the opponent is knocked down. When any teammate evades an attack, grant heavy regen for 10 seconds and 2 stacks of precision. Okay, so this Beowulf is obviously a support character. I think you could use him standalone, but you probably wouldn't. I personally wouldn't, unless I don't know. You know what? I take that back. Maybe I would. I don't think I would ever use him as a support character for a defensive team because I would rather use... What's her face? What is her name? Oh my gosh. Surgeon General. I'd rather use her. She makes more sense to me as a defensive support character rather than an offensive one. Especially because her heavy regen, I think, lasts longer than Beowulf's or Pickleballers. But with that being said, Pickleballer granting you evasion and heavy regen and it being really easy to get, because with heavy regen, you just have to evade an attack. That's nothing. And to get evasion, you just have to knock the enemy down. So he seems really good. And you get blockbuster meter. Okay, so he's a character that I'm definitely going to get. I really want to get him because he seems really awesome. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, eventually they'll add the Tifa variant to Shard Exchange. So even if I don't get her, I could just wait. Okay, but whatever. Back to Pickleballer. So he seems really good because of the whole like evasion, blockbuster meter, heavy regen. Oh, and precision. Come on, you guys. That's pretty awesome. I feel like he would be really good with Windswept. I mean, he'd be good with anybody really, but with Windswept specifically, it would be really easy to get evasion after knocking the enemy down, because the way Windswept works is, you guys have seen me play her, when you use, and you guys probably have her too, when you use Windswept and you actually unlock permanent precision goes away when the enemy gets knocked down or dies. So because of that, you have to kind of reset and try to get evasion back by hitting the enemy while they're attacking. But if you had Pickleballer, once you defeated the enemy or knocked them down, well, I assume it would work when you defeat the enemy, but once you knock them down, you can just get evasion right back. So you don't even have to really worry about trying to, you know, set it up again. But with all that being said, Pickleballer seems really good. All these characters seem decent at least. I really want to get Pickleballer, and I really want to get Parasol. I really want to get Locked In. I don't know why I can't remember her name, but I can remember, I guess because I'm looking at the screen. But yeah, those are all the characters. Let me know what you guys think about all of them. Personally, I just told you my favorites. I don't really care about these other characters. I don't think I would use them. The only one I would probably use other than the two that I just talked about are, I probably would use Spellbent if I had her. Maybe, but I already have a bunch of Maries, so I'm kind of like, do I want another Marie? Who knows? That's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about these variants, and yeah, who's your favorite? And who are you excited for? Anyways, goodbye. Actually, I lied. I totally forgot. When I was using Near Death, she actually has a really cool effect. I think most of the, or maybe all the diamonds have special effects, the ones that they've been releasing recently. But Near Death has this weird effect where she makes the screen kind of, not glitchy. If you guys have played Nier Automata, you know what I'm talking about when the screen gets all like weird. I'll show an example because I actually did a replay, or I recorded it. So you can see, although it made my game lag really badly for a second, but it was really cool. So if you guys are, if you like 2B, I feel like you would really want to use her. I'm not the type of person to use a variant specific, like solely based on their appearance, but it was a pretty cool effect. And also I wanted to talk about, what's her face, Masked Menace really quick. I forgot to mention, I actually fought her in Parallel Realms. She's kind of a pain to fight. Not necessarily because of her own abilities. Okay, the thing that makes her kind of scary a little bit is the fact that she inflicts Quietus. I was using Starshine and I had Final Stand, and I think Masked Menace actually got a hit off on me, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll be fine. But I didn't have immunity on, and she killed me because I had Quietus, so that's one thing to worry about. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Goodbye.